Hello. About a week ago I posted a video about these white skin onions with a single red skin that we discovered, the interloper. And we had a bit of a laugh, didn't we, about the biggest onion sets I'd ever seen, and then I pulled in some of last year's onions, some stew-on, and showed you those, showed you how good a keeper they were. They've actually stored 6 months and I'm just about finishing them off now. So that's what decided me to go for stew-on. Such a good keeper, and they did well for me. Stuttgart Giants, most of those went to seed, so I'm not growing those again. And redskins that I grew the year before, they all went to seed, and I was totally disillusioned and hardly got any of those redskins harvested. And so I decided I was never going to grow redskins again, and I think I mentioned that on the last video that I posted. But I also asked if anybody that watched the video, any subscribers, knew of any videos showing redskins being harvested. Could they send me a link and I'll go and have a look and maybe change my mind on that one, maybe grow some redskins. So there are a couple of links on the video about these stew-on white skin onions that got me to look at people harvesting redskins. Now, I wasn't overly impressed, but I was sufficiently, how shall I say this, sufficiently interested to maybe give them another go. So I'm actually going back on my word. I said I'd never grow them again, but I'm going to give them another shot. Okay, so these guys, these are the stew-on, and these were the ones that I got from Morrison's. They've been sat in this dry compost now for a week, and I've sat them in here because I didn't want to leave them in the plastic bag that they came in, because they tend to sweat, and that doesn't do the onions any good, the onion sets. I just wanted to get them out where there's a bit of ventilation, but I couldn't plant them out because the ground's too wet and cold. It's too early in the year. So I'd sit them in this. And if we got the green tips starting to appear, if these guys started to grow, and if they put a few roots down, I thought that might be a bonus. It might get me a faster start. So I think what we'll do is, we'll just tease a couple of these guys out. Remember, they've only been in a week, and see if there's anything showing there, and then pop them back in. And then I'm going to show you these redskins, and then I'm going to tell you a tale about a message in a bottle. Okay, right, let's just tease a couple of these guys out. Nope, no roots there, you'll have to trust me on that one. Yeah, what do you think? Can you see that? Can you see the root? Anywhere you like, we'll just go anywhere. Oh, this one's, oh yeah, look at that. So these guys are getting roots. I know there's some disturbance here, it ain't gonna bother these guys. So we're getting some roots. And when I eventually sow these guys out, they'll be sown as an onion that's already started to put roots down. So I'm hoping that that'll give me a bit of a head start and allow these guys to kick on. Okay, they haven't all got roots. Some have, some haven't. Ooh, yeah, look at that. So we're getting some roots, which is what I was hoping for. So I'll just move these out of the way now, and I'll bring those redskins into the picture, and I'll start and tell you about that message in a bottle. Okay, so these are the redskins. I said I wouldn't grow, but I'm now growing. Again, I got these guys from Morrison's. There's 40 in there, and the variety is Red Baron. So we're going to give Red Baron a go. These onions are going to be planted just as the white skins were. I'm going to put these onions in some compost indoors and let them fire on. But when you get these guys, you take them out of the packet. Quite often they've got quite a bit of this top growth on. Now that, if it was sown out like that, would be irresistible to a sparrow. Boink, pull it out. It would be irresistible to any bird in the garden. Any garden bird that saw that would see that as a potential piece of nest material. Just pull it, boink, and your onion's out. So it's always best when you get your onion sets to nip those off. Not too close, because obviously the growing tip's under there and you want to make sure you don't nip that off. And then roll it through your fingers, see if there's any slack skin on there, and take it off. Okay, here's another one, look. So you take that off the top, like that, roll it through your fingers, see if there's any slack skin, and that's how you prepare your onions. Here's some skin that I took off earlier that's just dropped off. Okay, so this isn't going to be very interesting, you watching me do this, unless I actually can make it interesting. And the only way I'm going to do that is to tell you that story about a message in a bottle. Okay, so this happened, this is a true story, and it happened about 4 or 5 years ago. Okay, and as you know, I have a dog, Molly, and I like to get down on the local seashore, take Molly for a walk. She loves it being in the sea. And there's no need to take a ball, because there's always bottles, plastic bottles, on the seashore that have washed up. And Molly will find a plastic bottle and expect me then to throw it into the sea, and she'll recover that plastic bottle. So this day she picked up a plastic bottle and she brought it to me, and I was going to throw it in the sea. But before I did that, I noticed there was something in the bottle, and it looked like a piece of paper. Oh, so I thought, here we go, let's see what this is. So I took the top off the bottle, and I think it was something like a soft drinks bottle, a Coke bottle, or a Pepsi, or a whatever. It was one of those plastic bottles with a screw top. So I took the top off the bottle, and there was a note inside, and I tried to get the note out, but the note had got damp inside the bottle, and it was reluctant to come out, so I had to shake the bottle quite a bit to get the note to fall to the neck end of the bottle so I could recover it. So I got the note out, and it was a wee bit damp, and I was careful not to tear it. And I couldn't help but notice as I'm unfolding this message that the paper was actually a page, or part of a page, from a child's colouring book. Okay, so I opened it up, and there was a small message on this piece of paper. And the message said that the bottle had come from Northern Ireland. Now remember, I'm picking this up on an English beach, on an English seashore. So that bottle had bobbed its way across the Irish Sea. Now, I don't know how long this had taken, and that's quite relevant really. There was no date on it, so I couldn't work out how long it had taken for this bottle to bob its way across. But the message was from a little girl, and the little girl was about 9 or 10 years old. Her name was on the paper. This was an handwritten message. Her name was on the paper. The little girl had put the message in the bottle and put it in the sea, and her name was on there, and so was a mobile telephone number. Okay. The idea being, I guess, that whoever found the bottle would ring the number and there would be a conversation. Okay. Now, this got me starting to think about whether this was a good idea or not. Whether I should ring this little girl on her mobile number. I'm assuming it was her mobile number, but I don't know that. It could have been a parent's mobile number, but it certainly didn't indicate that. So I felt that if I rang this number, me, a total stranger, a grown-up, would be speaking to a 9 or 10-year-old, a 9 or 10-year-old girl, and I wasn't too comfortable with that, and I thought, I'm not too sure I should do this. And on the bottom of this note, it said, "No surrender." You'll have heard that expression before, no surrender. Now, the only time I've ever heard that expression is on newsreels, where the people of Northern Ireland have been in the Troubles, and the expression "no surrender" I always associated with trouble. You know, with people who couldn't get along with one another, and with... I don't want this to be a political slot. I'm just telling you what was on the note, no surrender. So that even made me even more uncomfortable about making a phone call to a young girl, a child in Northern Ireland. So I didn't make that phone call. So the little girl never got to find out that the bottle she put in the water off the coast of Northern Ireland, presumably, had found its way on the English coast. I didn't make the phone call. So I don't know what you think about that. I don't know what would you have done? Would you have phoned a little girl? Would you, as a total stranger, have phoned a little girl on a mobile number and spoke to her, perhaps without her parents knowing? It just didn't seem right to me. I don't know, if it would seem right to you, but it didn't seem right to me. So I can't recall what I did with the letter. I think I probably binned it and done nothing else. But it was quite exciting finding the message in a bottle. And I guess if there hadn't been an age on there, then I wouldn't have known it was a child. I probably would have phoned up and said, "Hey, I've found your bottle. It was on our local coast in England. It's found its way across the Irish Sea." But because there was an age on there, and because it was a little girl, and because I'm an adult, I just got a bit nervous about doing it, so I didn't do it. So anyway, that's the story. That's the story of the message in a bottle. And these are my red onions. So there's no need for you to see me now put these in the compost like we did with the white onions, but that's what I'm going to do. And possibly the next time you'll see these, hopefully they'll have some roots on. Okay, so this is Homegrown Veg signing out.